My day begins when the dog barks. It says it's time to get out of bed. And as I get out of bed, I'm in my car and I'm driving on my way to work, but it's an hour on my way to work. I work in a college and I teach public speaking, but my first student comes up to greet me and says, Professor Kahn, I wanted to let you know yesterday my sister was at Target and she was shot and killed. And I'm sorry if I wasn't able to focus. The next class, a student comes into my class, blood on his shirt. Son, what happened to you? Well, I was over having something for breakfast and my nose had blood on it, but I just didn't want to miss your class. Another day, another student. Professor Kahn, I found out that I have cancer and I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, I'm a public speaking teacher, but I want to tell you about 3 lives I've changed. Not those stories, that's just part of my job. The first story begins, I teach my students in my public speaking class at LA City College. It's an inner city school, people from all sorts of places. There's a heavy set African-American woman that on her very first speech talks about being homeless and what it's like to start all over again. I teach my students a process where when you make a mistake, you can go ahead and change it by the 1-minute manager. When the chair of my department came in and showed me the graduating class, my student had 5 scholarships by her name. I thought, wow. Semester later, there was a summer school class. It was at Pasadena City College, a little bit more affluent area, and they actually had summer school, which is now like an almost historical fact. This student was an Asian student. She was an Ivy League student, flunked out of school. When she was in my class, she said, Professor Kahn, can you go ahead and state that source again? I didn't quite get it down in my notes, and I want to make sure I get it right. Her father would come at the end of each classroom, as if she was a little kid, to walk her to the car. And as we began talking, she said, my father wanted me to be an engineer, and it didn't work. He wanted me to be a business major, and it didn't work. And I said, I've never met a student in my class who asked me to repeat a source citation. I wrote a letter, and in my letter I said, I'm really grateful that when I went to school at University of California, Santa Barbara, that they believed in second chances because I changed my major 3 times. I think this student deserves a second chance. As an instructor at Pasadena City College, I got a student back into their Ivy League school. But there's one story that really means the most to me. And this was a student at LA City College. I also teach people how to speak English as a second language. And when you come to my class, we don't learn English 2 days a week. That's not how it works. You see, in my class, I send my students out to the community so they can volunteer. This student went to an organization next door where they gave Bibles with a sack lunch. She came back and she said, Professor Kahn, I talked to 16 people from 13 different nations. It was the best day of my life. Unfortunately, the organization didn't have time to sign up the paperwork, and so she couldn't work there. But she began another project working for 826 LA where she volunteered. They did movies and scripts, and she was so excited that she got other people from the class. But more importantly, when the West Hollywood Library had a grand opening, she told the whole class, guys, we gotta go, this is really exciting. And I said, guys, go to the library, it's a wonderful thing. In her workshop, she learned how she could be a writer. 2 other students learned the stories of other immigrants. 1 other person picked up a story for their child that they bought so they could read. These are the stories of the peoples in my life I touch every day. As I stand here before you, my life has its own problems. I don't know if I'll be teaching next semester. I don't know if I'll have classes because I'm just a part-time teacher. So when you think of education, you think about the children or the adults that it's impacted their life. Maybe there's something you could do to make their day a little brighter. Thank you.